In the belly of a slow-moving interstellar ship, the lights hummed like a gentle tide and a small closet door hummed with a secret. A mechanical intercom clicked alive and said course plotted, and a soft chime answered. The ship settled into its orbit and the scene shifted toward two curious passengers. Two brown caterpillars shared a bunk near that very closet. The first, a short plump brown caterpillar named Nibs with a perpetual curious grin and tiny space harness straps, loved maps and sticky notes. The second, a taller sleek brown caterpillar named Sable with long, thoughtful antennae and a penchant for late-night theories, kept a pocket atlas. Nibs said, "I think the closet is just a closet, let's peek anyway." Sable replied, "Or it could be something utterly terrible, but we'll check carefully." With a soft shuffle they approached the glowing seam of the door. Across the corridor 3 mulberry-colored caterpillars plotted beneath a banner of stolen museum stamps. They moved like a planned shadow, each with a different sly tilt to their segmented heads: Rue the planner, Velvet the smooth talker, and Mirella the tinkerer. Rue purred, "This will funnel exactly the kind of confusion we need." Velvet added, "Imagine every street sign giggling into nonsense." Mirella clicked a tiny sprocket and grinned. Their plan began to curl toward the closet's seam. The closet was not an ordinary coat space. It had once swallowed a misplaced curio from the local museum and exhaled a rumor of a rival dimension that reflected every joke as power. A crate labeled stolen antiquities had gone missing from the colony's museum, and the trail ended at the humming closet. Nibs whispered, "The museum's missing things ended up here somehow." Sable answered, "If the closet links to another place, whatever touches the signs might change both worlds." The whisper of artifacts made the ship feel thinner, like a page being turned. The 3 mulberry caterpillars conspired to twist everyday words into power. They began changing street names across the colony into puns and snickering as reality hiccuped with every new sign. Each pun tugged at the seam between places and the closet drank the ripples like tea. Velvet boasted, "We turn Main Street into Main Street and the laughter funnels into the seam." Rue replied, "Each joke pulls the portal wider." The rewritten signs began to hum with potential. As puns multiplied, the closet's seam tightened and rippled. Sounds from the other side began to echo like late-night radio. The portal became unstable and objects began to step sideways into it. Nibs reached for a floating spoon and said, "We have to stabilize it before anything else slips through." Sable frowned, "I have a theory, but I might be wrong. We need help." They readied ropes and maps to confront the growing seam. Under the stress of the portal, the 2 brown caterpillars found themselves arguing about a peculiar thing: whether wearing socks to bed altered the texture of your dreams. The disagreement grew oddly heated and introduced a small wedge between them at the worst moment. Nibs insisted socks shape dream footprints, it's science of comfort. Sable countered, "Dreams are about motion, not fabric." Their voices tightened, tension rode the air like static. A quick aside: if you like strange space stories, please like, subscribe, and if something about this tale made you smile, comment the word "slop" below. It helps small tales find new ears and keeps the lights on this quirky ship. Nibs murmured "slop," just to see it in print. The ship's hum settled and attention returned to the closet. The mulberry trio moved from punning signs to a crescendo. They activated a lattice of jokes across the colony so the portal would siphon laughter and tilt the rival dimension in their favor. Power hummed through the seam and the portal's mouth widened to a hungry circle. Velvet laughed, "We have the tilt, everything tips in our favor now." Rue added, "Seal the museum's treasures under our name." The ship creaked as the portal drank ambition. Nibs and Sable scrambled to close the seam, throwing ropes, counterscripts, and a jury-rigged silence blanket over the closet, but the portal resisted as if it had teeth. Dust from a crate that once held a missing exhibit spun into a miniature galaxy and slipped away. Nibs shouted, "I've got the tether, pull now." Sable cried, "I'm on the seal, brace yourself." They tugged and the closet snapped, then sighed open again, stronger than before. Exhausted, they realized a new strategy was needed. The socks argument erupted anew as failures accumulated and tempers frayed. Small obsessions suddenly felt massive in the shadow of choice. Their voices rose until the corridor felt smaller. Sable snapped, "I can't keep fixing things while you debate socks all night." Nibs retorted, "Maybe your dreams need socks to get unstuck, you never listen. The closet's hum swallowed their frustration as the argument coiled tighter. At the story's sharpest tilt, Sable, who had been quietly carrying a heavier fate than even they admitted, felt the weight of a destiny they never wanted. The portal pulsed as the Mulberry trio seized the opportunity and pushed their plan to a decisive moment. Sable whispered, "I never asked to be the one who mends the world." Velvet leered, "Destiny is tidy when you let us reorder it." The portal flared and the mulberry caterpillars gained the upper hand. In a quiet, brilliant moment they noticed something odd about the trio. Whenever music started, they stopped scheming and moved impossibly well together, pulled by a silly rhythm they couldn't resist. A museum audio clip of a cheerful conga began to play by accident, and the mulberry caterpillars froze, then started to sway. Nibs laughed that laugh. "They can't help it, they always join a conga." Sable grinned, "We can use that." A new plan, simple and kind, unfurled. They baited the mulberry caterpillars with an invitation to a pretend victory parade, then subtly cued a looping conga tune that filled the corridor. The mulberry trio couldn't resist and joined in, stepping in perfect, predictable rhythm until their devices tangled and the portal's edge was gently zipped closed. Rue sputtered, "This isn't how this goes." Velvet hiccuped, "I can't help the steps." Murella laughed helplessly as their gadgets fell into neat piles. The laughter that once fed the scene was now a gentle, harmless beat. With the antagonist disarmed by rhythm, the portal was resealed and the stolen museum pieces drifted back like shy birds returning to a roost. The colony's street signs untwisted themselves, giggles fading into ordinary names, and the seams smoothed to a calm green. Nibs breathed, "The statues are going home." Sable said, "We did it together, even with disagreements." The artifacts settled back in the museum's crates as if they'd only been on a brief, strange holiday. Ordinary rhythms returned to the ship, but the two brown caterpillars had shifted. The argument about socks had softened into curiosity and respect. They settled on a compromise. They'll test socks on certain nights and keep a journal of dreams, because experiments are better done together. Nib said, "Maybe socks do change dreams sometimes, let's test it." Sable replied, "And if they don't, we'll keep testing other theories together." They laughed, not at each other but with each other, and the ship hummed approval. A brief, clear note before we return to quiet: all slop in this story were generated using AI. This is a factual statement about the origins of the playful stray bits and background texture of the tale, provided so you know how the slop was created. Nibs added, "That's the full truth about our slop, no illusions." The ship exhaled and the lights returned to their steady, comfortable glow.